We've got a big old shipment of macabre and maniacal horror comics hitting the shelves this week. Let's get right into it. Here's this week's horror poll. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Before we get started, I wanted to alert my listeners that I'll be writing and drawing a new short story in Nightmare Theater 2. I thank those of you who picked up the first collection. I believe there might be some copies left if you want to check it out. I did a story with superstar artist Carlos Granda for that one. In this new anthology, it delves into the darkest corners of the mind and beyond. If you have some extra cash, be sure to support the Nightmare Theater 2 Kickstarter and pick yourself up a copy. Look for a link to Nightmare Theater 2's Kickstarter down below before the comments. Now here's what horror comics will be released this week, November 17th, 2021. Tales of Terror Annual, Goddess of Death, number 1, is from Zenescope Entertainment. The story is by Ralph Tedesco, Joe Brusha, and Dave Francini. It looks as if Ceres, the Goddess of Death, has her work cut out for her, ruling Hell. Turns out the 13 kings of Hell are vying for top dog status and only need to knock out Ceres to get the title. All this, and of course there'll be plenty of covers featuring
ass, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties.
Skin Crawl number 1 is by someone only named Skinner. That's one hell of a title for a comic, and an awesome name for a horror writer. I absolutely love that creepy-ass cover, too. This promises to be the greatest horror comic of all time, and if that cover is any indication, I believe it. I know nothing about this one, but damn if I'm not intrigued all to hell and back. This first issue comes in both black and white and full-color versions, which I also think is pretty awesome. I have to get my mitts on this one. Purgatory number 2 is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by Ray Fawkes, and the art is by Alvaro Sarraseca. The murderous gal with a nice set of horns is back to take on all comers. In this issue, Purgatory finds herself in the middle of Norway for some reason. What the hell is she doing there? I don't know. All I know is that I think Purgatory and Ceres, the Goddess of Death, should get together sometime and have a hellacious pillow fight. And would that be a battle filled with
ass, titties, titties, ass and titties?
Silence number 1 is from Second Sight Publishing. The story is by Evan K. Pozios, with art by Alex Sanchez. When former comic book superstar Stanley Kane suffers a debilitating medical ailment, he takes off for a place called Silence, Michigan to recover. But his road to recovery might be rocky when he finds a mystical amulet that seems to be the answer to all of his dreams. I love that screaming cover, and I like the inside baseball storyline focusing on the trials and tribulations of a comic book writer. Believe me, I can empathize. Eat the Rich number 4 is from Boom Studios. The story is by Sarah Gailey, with art by Pius. Even though I really dug the art by Pius, I kind of jumped off this book after the overly talky first issue. It just felt like there was a lot of discourse about class and gender, and didn't have enough horror in it for me. I do dig the nice and bloody cover. If someone can convince me to leap back on this book, I'm all ears. If you're enjoying this one, that's cool, but it's just not my bag. The Army of Darkness, 1979, number 3 is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by Rodney Barnes, with art by Tom Garcia. In this Evil Dead meets the Warriors mashup, Deadites and rival gangs battle it out on the mean streets of New York. Only one man can take them on, and that's our hero with a chainsaw for a hand, Ash. Expect groovy, blood-splattered streets in this issue for sure. Zombie Tramp number 83 and 84 is from Action Lab Comics. The story is by Vince Hernandez, with art by Claudio Avella. In issue number 83, our favorite loosely moraled undead gal and friends find themselves in Russia, where her powers emerge in new and deadly ways. Maybe Zombie Tramp can catch up with Purgatory in Norway on the way. In issue number 84, Zombie Tramp continues her battle with the Ruskies. 2 issues of Zombie Tramp in 1 week. That's a double D dose of
ass, titties,
Ma number 3 is from Boom Studios. The story is by Jude, Ellison, S. Doyle, with art by A.L. Kaplan. I said when I talked about the first issue of this series before reading it that I'd give it a chance, but if it was full of discourse, I was out. This is another comic from an essayist, and history has told me that comics done by folks like that tend to fail to remember that this is a collaboration between story and art. Ma number 1 was a bit preachy, as it focuses on a group of women who meet on an island to practice some kind of feminist self-help magic, but I actually found the story to be pretty compelling. I missed issue 2, but issue 3 promises some pretty dank body horror, so I might pick this series back up just to check that out. Those Damn Kids number 1 is from Second Sight Publishing. The story is by Bradley Goldman and Peter Breau, with art by Helmut Racho. I love evil kids running amok stories like The Children, The Brood, and Village of the Dam. They're so much better than zombie films because you kind of have to hesitate a bit before bashing their little brains in. This series unleashes kids gone feral in Vicksburg, Mississippi. That cover is creepy as hell, and this is one I think I gotta check out. Elvira Meets Vincent Price number 3 is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by David Avalone, with art by Juan Samu. Elvira and the ghost of Vincent Price make their way to Cairo to awaken an ancient goddess as they scour the globe to find Vincent Price's missing movie. What? Are you expecting the A&T music? I respect the Mistress of Dark a little too much for that.
Ass and titties.
Refrigerator Full of Heads number 2 is from Black Label. The story is by Rio Ures, with art by Tom Fowler. I found the first issue to this prequel to Joe Hill's Basket Full of Heads series to be kind of impenetrable. The art was keen, and there was a whole bunch of cool things happening, but having not read Basketful, I felt I was missing something, and I kind of didn't feel like I cared enough to do the research. Again, if I'm wrong and need to seek out Joe Hill's original, I'm willing to do it, but this is another not-for-me book. Vampira's Holiday Special 2021 number 1 is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story and art are by Will Robeson. Vampy takes on the spirits of Christmas, a group of hunters who track down paranormal creatures for fun during the holidays. Sounds pretty cheery. And check out that cover by the one and only Joseph Michael Linsner. Deck the halls with
Ass and titties.
Manifest Destiny number 45 is from Image Comics. The story is by Chris Dingus, with art by Matthew Roberts. Here's another comic I haven't been following, but damn if I'm not intrigued by it. It follows the exploits of Lewis and Clark as they venture into uncharted territory that is filled with all kinds of cryptids and legendary monsters. I think this series is wrapping up, so this might be a prime time to start reading this one from the beginning. Also, that cover looks like it has Bigfoot battling some kind of pterodactyl, which I think is super sweet. Darkhold Wasp number 1 is from Marvel Comics. The story is by Jordi Belair, with art by Claire Rowe. In order to take on a newly reborn Chthon, the darkest of the dark baddies trapped in the Darkhold, the Scarlet Witch has warped reality around some of her closest teammates. In this issue, a newer, darker Wasp emerges, and Janet Van Dyne deals with her worst nightmares taking form. This is Jordi Belair's first Marvel work. The Wasp's story is a fascinating one. Here's hoping Belair did her homework and will deliver something that pushes the character into the spotlight she deserves. The Walking Dead Deluxe number 27 is from Skybound Comics. The story is by Robert Kirkman, with art by Charlie Adlard. Looks like this series, which is reissuing each issue of The Walking Dead, only this time in color, is finally getting to the Woodbury storyline. This means the showdown with the governor is coming soon. For those who didn't get the series the first time, here it is again with a new cover and zombies in full color. I'm not getting this series because I read the originals, but it's essential reading for those who missed it. The Goon number 14 is from Albatross Funny Books. The story and art are by Eric Powell. This issue features the return of Duck Boy, an unseemly child who kills people with toy ducks. Eric Powell always delivers the right kind of wrong with the Goon and his best buddy Frankie. Let's see if the big guy and the little guy can survive a battle royale with an expert in killing people with ducks. All kinds of great and wrong mayhem will be had in this one, guaranteed. Finally, we have The Nice House on the Lake, number 6. It's from DC Comics. The story is by James Tynion IV, with art by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. The current king of comic book horror, James Tynion IV, brings another thrill-filled issue of our survivors of the apocalypse barricaded against their will in the titular Nice House. Turns out a new guest arrives unannounced, assuring much disruption for the rest of the survivors who are barely keeping things together as is. This is the last cliffhanger issue of 2021, as this series won't pick back up until March 2022, so be sure to check this one out. That's a whole lot of comics. Any of them interest you? Let me know which ones down in the comments. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Grave Trancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your